Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 1 of Magik, written by Ashley Allen and art by Germán Peralta. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. Now, as you may know, the island nation of Krakoa was a safe haven for all mutants, but now that it is no more, mutants find themselves once again displaced across the globe, with Magik and the X-Men pushing back against an unjust world. For this issue is titled, The Threads That Binds. And it opens up in Juneau, Alaska with a young girl running for her life down an empty road, and as she runs she begs and pleads for anyone to wake up, but unfortunately, her calls fell upon deaf ears, as a creature slammed her face first into the road. And just as she started to scream for help, the mysterious creature pulled said young girl into the shadows as she cried out she wasn't ready. Now following this intro, we get a narration from Magik saying she used to dwell on what her life would have been like without wasting her childhood in the eternal hellscape of Limbo. She actually hoped that would have been something like this, peaceful, idyllic, bright, and full of hope without its preceding sorrow. Because when she was kidnapped by the demon Belasco, she thought her life was over. For this demon saw her potential and hungered to influence her power. The demon planted a seed of evil in her soul and forced it to grow. But yet she still hoped and managed to finally escape and became a member of the New Mutants, a member of the X-Men. So with Magik becoming more than what he pushed her into, she eventually won and buried her demons in the past. Or at least that was what she thought, for her inner demon interrupted her dreams and asked what about it is she trying to avoid. Now this sent a jolt of fear through Magik's heart, for she repeated to herself that she is no longer the queen of Limbo and she had divorced herself from the realm. But see, at that moment was where her dream took a turn for the worse, for on the next page, we see the entire X-Men lineup lying dead as the demon form of Magik stood over them saying how it was over the minute she freed herself from her prison. Then it brought up how selfish Magik was, because Limbo was merely their genesis. And just like that, Magik sat upright in her bed covered in cold sweats as she realized it was just a dream. And then the narration continued to say that the Dark Child is starting to hunt her, but back in Krakoa she remained quiet, and Belasco's influence basically became a distant memory. In fact, it was so long ago that Magik believed that her control over her was gone, but this is the third time this week that she had the same dream, the same mistake, and the same ending. Now, yes, Limbo forged her into something stronger, but at what cost? What wires got crossed in the name of evolution? What patterns did she learn to survive? She thought she'd managed to untangle those threads. But opening herself up and softening herself cost her home. But if she was honest, selfishly she liked who she had become. However, she won't make the same mistake again, not if it costs the X-Men their new start. So as the team attempted to celebrate Magik's birthday, our hero just thought to herself that in moments like this, she was weak. And how easy would it be to blow out the candles and go back to the way things were? Because she may be another year older, yet she still has the same conversation with herself. So as Magik's friends surrounded her, a piece of news on the television caught her attention, and in a way to avoid the party, Magik used the disappearance of a young mutant as an excuse to teleport away. So with that said, we then fast forward to the wake of the missing mutant girl. And at that funeral, it went as well as you would expect in a town where people hated mutants. For people outside the funeral home showed the ultimate form of disrespect as they chanted and defaced the building. And as that went down, we see on a small panel an older woman marking the coffin with some magical ruins. And then on the next page, Magik arrived on the scene, and she was completely pissed off. For the Magik learned in Limbo begged to be unleashed on the evil people outside the home, but she knew how they would see her, although they were the ones screaming at her. So as the people backed up in fear, they started to call her names like demon, but that was when Magik corrected them and said, she is no demon, but they are. And at that moment a horde of demons materialized behind her. Now this caught Magik off guard, because she thought to herself, who exactly would summon demons to Juneau? So as the people started to run in fear, Magik asked out loud if they wanted her to help or would they still prefer her to get lost, because she was fine either way. And at that moment she summoned her soul sword. Now her soul sword is the physical manifestation of her soul cutting through all magic. So for Magik the demons that attacked her served only one purpose, target practice. So as Magik cut them down, she also used her ability to save those around her. But it was ironic that the people she helped feared her X-gene, yet her stepping disc will be the thing that would teleport them to safety. However, they do require a midway point, which would be a small glimpse of Limbo. So as Magik continued to fight off the demons, one of the hateful humans pointed out that the demons were only attacking the mutants, so in a move of pure hatred, The man pushed one of the young mutants toward the creature and took off running. But before the demon could take the child, Magik leaped into action and pushed the demon through one of her gates. And just like before, Magik took that demon out in no time, but when she returned to her feet, she noticed a young child crying in a cemetery alone. Now at first, she thought he was one of the kids kidnapped by the demons, but she quickly realized that she was dead wrong. For the once kid transformed into a grown man and stated, "I do need only one mutant to break the seal. And you won't run like the others, will you?" And as he pointed his weapon, he continued to say, "They fell for my trick, but a challenge would be a fitting end to my work. I wish you would be able to glimpse what's beyond his chains, but unfortunately, you won't have a chance to see it." So with that said, the mysterious man fired his shot, but the bullet did absolutely nothing, and with that said, the fight was on. So with no hesitation, the man fired yet another shot, but unlike the last one, it separated into several rounds and hit Magik from all angles. So with Magik hurt, on the next page, we then see the old woman from the funeral and one of the young kids making their way through the gate, and when they get there, the older woman states something odd. She stated that when she saw Magik in town, she feared the worst. But now to see her at the graveyard is something different. So with determination in her face, the old woman immediately said that they have to strengthen the seal before it falls, because if any more energy is sacrificed, Liminal would be set free. And then the old woman went on to say if the girl is here, that means two prophecies are colliding and neither can be fulfilled. For centuries ago, their ancestors placed 5 seals to trap the entity known as Liminal. So if all 5 seals break, his chaos will be released onto the world. So with that small info dump, the grandma activated her magic as she told Callan to get to the seal. So as Magik dropped down to one knee, the gunman with lightning speed dashed towards the little girl that Magik saved earlier and took an attack at point-blank range, but to her dismay, it did nothing at all. And once it was done, the man grabbed the child's face and activated his spell. So as the girl melted away, Ilyanna rose to her feet as the demon within taunted her for failing the child. And with anger filling her heart, Magik dashed with crazy speed toward the gunman and started to go to town. Now as that was going on, Callan started to freak out as he just witnessed his friend die, but regardless of the death and pain going on around the old lady, she just sat there determined and ordered the boy to give her the physical material to help reseal the seal. For the old lady stated that the beast has collected enough energy and these wards will be the only thing to stop the seals from failing. And she doesn't know if the other 4 have already been broken, but her family was charged with protecting this seal. And that duty was passed down to Callan when he came of age. Once he could be trained in their society's way, he was to be entrusted with preventing the apocalypse that plagued their world. Now the old lady knows that it isn't fair for Callan because she thought she had more time to explain and to give him a childhood. But given all that is going on, the old lady doesn't know what will happen following this day, but she makes sure to tell Callan to remember to be wary of Magik because one cannot trust the dark child. So as the fight continues, we can see how the demon seed within Magik slowly but surely tries to convince Magik that they should be evil and do what they want. So as Magik blindly swings her blade, the old woman shouts out how Magik should stop just swinging her blade like a brute and use her magic instead. So with that information given, Magik stopped in her tracks and slowly started to regain control of her senses because the woman was right, Magik was no brute. So with an outstretched hand, Magik started to channel her magical skills and said silence, and entered it to remove the verbal component to the spell, and after a swipe of her blade, the threat was neutralized after his hand fell from his body. So with the demon now on the back foot, the creature in a fit of desperation stated that he was tired of these games and stated that this family would imprison his master no longer. And with a few well-placed shots, the old woman's body went limp as she fell onto the ground. So with that obstacle out of the way, the demon proclaimed his victory as Magik rushed Callan holding his grandmother's remains through the gate, just as the dark Magik rushed behind them. And with yet another display of magic, Magik manifested a shield to try to hold the energy at bay to prevent the seal from breaking through. And as she held it back, Magik narrated how as long as she focused, she could keep the magic contained, but it was a weight only her shoulders could bear. But in time, her strength will falter. So to pull it off, she will need to find the entity behind this before any more seals are destroyed, because her barrier will not last indefinitely. So as the boy sat over his grandma, Magik went to comfort him. But as she tried, the boy just replied by saying, he let Rin and his only family member die. And all he has left is these notes given to him by his grandmother. And her last wish was for him to decipher that thing, whatever it is, will never hurt anyone again. For he won't let it. So when Magik told him that she will deal with it and he should hide somewhere safe, he just responded by saying, "Safe? He won't be safe until that thing is destroyed." Because even Magik heard it say it hates his family. And the only thing between him and the demon is the seals. And speaking of the seals, the boy questions how could he even trust her, because she let one seal fall already. And then the boy went on to say he is counting on Magik and he isn't letting her and the journal out of his sight. So with that said, the two introduced themselves to each other and teleported away as a single page fell from the book. A page about Magik that was read by the creature that was set free. And the creature said, "The Dark Child, so that's her name, how interesting. Will she pose a threat or become a gift? No matter what, we will have fun either way." So with that said, issue number 1 of Magik comes to an end. Now down in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts about this issue and what predictions you could have moving forward. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.